Digital persona, authentication attributes, and obviously add the group policy that's required to set it up. The second step is to run what we call domain controller configuration script. So the domain controller configuration script needs to be run at all of the domains that will be communicating or that will be utilizing digital persona as a authentication provider. So I think on my environment I have one. I only one domain which is going to be directed at that. But if you're implementing this in a forest-wide environment, and maybe you have definitely more than a couple of domain controllers, you have to run this in each of the domains. So that's the script that you need to do to execute it. And then the last one is the digital persona directory software. So the way that works is on the workstation, on the server, I have the digital persona packages. Okay. So I have DPAD folder, which has two components. So for the client component, for the server component, we need to run through the AD server setup. So again, the first thing that we need to do is extend the schema. But just to show you, right, just to make sure that it's not installed. So if we go through the group policy editor, so in the software policy, you can see that it's empty, right? Okay. This basically the standard one, default one. And the main controller name is dpca.local, right? And nothing is installed yet. And then if you look at the user, my user, when I right-click the username in Active Directory, you can see that I have the standard contextual menu options, right? So this will change, and we'll see additional policy folders under the software settings once we complete the installation of the Team Persona. And run through that. So let's look at the software packages that we have. So this software package or software packages are actually on the workstation that Yuri shared to us yesterday. So I've completed uploading all of these files there. And the first thing that you need to do is copy the DPAD folder. DPAD. Yeah, DPAD zip file actually is the zip package to the Active Directory and domain controller. Okay. Once you have that on the machine, go through DPAD server and DPAD server folder. There is a folder called schema extension. Okay. Yes. So this is the first thing that you need to run. We need to extend the schema of Active Directory so that it can recognize the digital persona attributes. Okay.
Okay.
So, I'll just run through the extension.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to ask the admin for permission to extend the uh, schema on the directory as for log. So I'll just click here, schema extend, and that's it. So my schema is extended. Since I'm actually running it through an upgrade, so back a little bit, you will see that the log actually shows us that it extended the attributes in AD, so it's added its own attribute, and you see that it deleted successfully. There's a few warnings. That's normal because I'm running the install from an existing digital persona or from a previously installed digital persona version, which is 3.0. I'm actually installing the latest version, which is 3.1. Okay. So once we run through the schema extension, we basically added the digital persona attributes in Active Directory. But obviously at this point, nobody's going to be using it. So the next thing that we need to do is run the main configuration script. So there is another folder under Digital Persona 80 server. There's a folder called the main configuration. Then you just need to run the dpconfig on each of the domains.
Okay, on each of the.
Yeah, on each of the domains. It's gonna prompt me which domain I should apply it to. But in this case, I only have one domain controller, so it's applying it to my current one. So let's look at that. Check the log. So again, on this particular domain controller, I can see that my container has been configured. So that's done. Once that's finished, then we can run the setup. So inside Digital Persona 80 server, there is a setup script. So back in the day when Digital Persona was still very new, there were a lot of pre-configuration that you need to do before running the script or running the setup. But now we have PowerShell and a lot of things can actually be scripted and automated. We've managed to automate a lot of the procedures, and in fact set up Digital Persona server or AD server, Active Directory server. You just need to run 3 programs to get the bare minimum functionality up and running, which is kind of cool because I like because I also do a lot of other authentication deployments with our other product lines, and most of them are actually on POSIX platform or on Linux. So obviously there you have to do a lot more. And the thing that I like about Digital Persona is that you can basically get even an end customer install this in their working environment. Obviously we just need to make sure that they run it through the correct sequence, and we guide them through the policy steps. But pretty much it's really very trivial to set up. So on to the setup. So I have I have the Digital Persona 80 server. It's asking me where to install it. I'll just leave it to the default directory. So this is actually a 64-bit application. I'll just do custom just to show you what we're going to be installing. So the first thing that you will see here is it will also add an additional package or add an additional package called Digital Persona Fingerprint Recognition Engine. So this is actually the default engine that we actually use for fingerprint. Okay. Token engine. That's actually used for bigger deployments. So if you would have a customer that would probably have more than 1,000 workstations, for example, like FBI, like a very large police facility that might need onboarding, or at the same time, you might consider, for example, BI, Bureau of Investigation, or sorry, Bureau of Immigration, where they have a lot of deployments across the country, would require a much more fully featured engine for biometrics. You don't actually need to use that. So I would recommend using the default one for both backnet and PNP. So we can just settle for the default fingerprint engine. So we don't have to select this one. That's fine. Click next, and then I run install.
So this, as far as that second option is concerned, so it is only applicable to the organization who have large number of users. That's it.
That's right. Yes.
This is for the single user, right? Currently, which you have implemented.
No. This is for multiple users. Don't get me wrong. So this is actually for multiple users. The setup that we're doing.
Okay.
It actually is, well, it can support up to more than 1,000 users, right? Even hundreds of thousands of users. The only thing is that for the engine, for the biometric engine, when you're authenticating with the biometric engine, and if you're doing that all at the same time, we actually have two algorithms. I'm not going to go into the detail for how that actually works, at least for the moment, but as discussed, for both backnet and PNB, we can actually rely on the default engine. So that's perfectly fine. We don't need to go into the detail of the biometric tokenization engine. I can have a definite session or independent session for that if you want. But so far, the opportunities that we have in the Philippines doesn't actually require that.
Okay. Fine.
Also, you have the required knowledge database or documentation, because the schema extension which was performed here is a blank AD, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So when we do it in the production, it might face some issues. Maybe some environmental issues might come into. I mean, if you have done so, like some kind of knowledge base, if you can share, like what kind of issues or challenges you face for installing or extending the schema in the production area.
Yeah. So actually, for that, normally we don't really have an issue extending the schema. To be honest, the main I would say instigator for the production activity is whether the customer is actually willing to run the script. So this is normally read to in the beginning, right? So I think for backnet, they're actually quite open to run the schema extension on the directory. In fact, that's our recommendation, or that's the best option for us. It's a lot simpler. It's a lot faster in terms of authentication, because you don't have to reference a secondary server. However, we also support LDS. So as an alternative, if let's say a particular customer or a bank doesn't want to touch their Active Directory, then that's perfectly fine. We can still extend it via LDS, or we can have our own LDS server running in the background, and we'll just link that to their directory. So there are a couple of options that can be done. In fact, it's documented in the admin guide that I've actually shared. But if you're referring to knowledge bases in particular, in fact, we have a cross-match website that illustrates, or in fact describes a couple of points that we normally face in production. And if that is not enough, we normally have our support active. And if this is a national project, then we can easily access support from the opportunity that they would be working us through.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, fine. Thanks. Thank you for the answer.
Okay, so let's go back to the server. So we've installed just about everything, pretty much just about the bare minimum to get to Persona to work. So now let's try to double check if see any changes. Let's go back to the group policy editor. View the current domain. So looking at the configuration, the policies, and software settings. Okay, I think I haven't started that yet. Let's try and try that again. One more thing, before I forget to find the admin tool.
Okay, administration tool is ready.
Show you everything. So the snap-in and extension. So that's all there. Okay. Let's restart. And a quick check. So Yuri, are you okay on your side?
I'm okay, sir. Hello, hello.
Have you uploaded the software?
I'm just first list all the steps in installing, then I will try it on our side later.
Yeah, actually you don't need to copy everything, right? Just copy the
Yes,
EP.
the
So here. Another thing to point out, guys. So if you can see my Windows login on the workstation, I'm actually on the workstation here, is showing the standard credential provider. So it just basically asks for a password, right?
Yes.
So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to update it to use the digital persona credential provider that would allow us to enable a customer to use multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the server and just double check if we got the stuff set up. So let's go back to check. We have all of the policies in place. Copy. Okay. And then let's look at the computer configuration policies again and the software settings. If you can see, we have two subfolders, one for Visual Persona Client and another one for the server. So the server is really very simple. It just basically displays the active licenses that I have. So this is something that we would need to activate for both BankNet and PNB. I need some time to issue the licenses. So you might not have, or we will definitely not have that today, but we'll definitely have that sometime next week. Hopefully by the time that we'll be in Manila, you guys will have access to test licenses. But for the setup, just to kind of like demonstrate how it works, all of the configurations is actually under security. So software settings to do persona security, right? And then there is two additional folders here, two additional group policy object folders here. One for authentication, which defines the login policy.